I thought the reason I wasn't scaling to like 10, 20, 30, 40, even 50K a month was because I just wasn't getting as many appointments as I would like. I was still probably getting 2 appointments a day, 3 appointments a day at that time period. But the whole reason I thought I wasn't scaling, I thought my bottleneck was just strictly appointments on the board. And while that can be true, it's not always the case. I scaled all the way up to from 4 in about July to 50 last month, collected 54,000 with my agency in the span of what, like 2 months. July hit 6K, and then once I implemented this shit I'm going to tell you in this video, in August I grew all the way to 32K, and last month I hit 54. So if you implement everything I show you in this video, I mean, proof is in the pudding. If you guys just implement it yourself, you'll see what can happen. So yeah, implement this for yourself. You can easily scale to 30K a month by taking 0 to 1 sales call a day. I mean, that's what I did all of August. I barely took any sales calls, literally 0 to 1 every single day. Same thing with last month. Last month, I barely took any sales calls the whole month. I just had a lot of recurring, um, and I have systems to upsell, get referrals, whatnot, and make more money on my current clients. So yeah, I'm gonna jump into it on my computer here and show you exactly how I do it. So I hear a lot of new agency owners always saying this. They're not scaling because they need more sales calls, or their main bottleneck is they don't have enough sales calls, or they're not getting as many appointments, or the appointments aren't qualified. Well, this simply just honestly is a limiting belief. You do not need more sales calls. I thought the same thing. I promise you, when I was stuck at 4 or 5K a month, I literally thought the same exact thing. I just need more sales calls and I'll close more. But honestly, I just didn't have the right systems in place to actually close the sales calls I was getting. I was probably closing at a super low rate back then, and honestly, I haven't changed my sales process at all. I've changed it a bit, but my sales hasn't got much better. It's the other stuff I have been doing. So the first thing is how to scale with not a lot of sales calls is you just want to have a high close rate. I'd probably take 4 to 5 sales calls a week, and I'd just close every single one of them. So the first thing that comes into play is your acquisition strategy. Let me turn this to black. Is your acquisition strategy. So how you're actually getting customers, whether that's SMS, whether that's ads. This has a huge play in this. I've seen a lot of people from ads just shopping around, have calls with 10 other people and never buy. So ads aren't my favorite. Obviously, once you get up to 50, 60K a month and you have a lot of money to dump into ads, you get a closer on board. Ads are definitely the way. But to scale up to that mark, I would not suggest ads to get there. So the first thing to play is this. When I scaled, I was simply using cold outreach only. I wasn't doing any sort of ads, and um, I was as soon as I switched over from ads to this strategy, I literally my business took off literally from zero or from 4 to 54K in 2 months. Um, Also, what plays a huge part is your front end process. So what I mean by front end process is simply your VSL and appointment setting call. First, let's talk about the VSL. I'm not going to talk too much about on how to actually make the VSL, but I will kind of give you a quick overview. So in the VSL, you want to have some sort of social proof, whether that's fake, whether that's real, whatever it is, you want to have some sort of social proof so they somewhat get on the call trusting you. Your VSL is also supposed to be pretty damn long, so they get used to kind of seeing your face, used to seeing your voice, so you're not a complete stranger when they actually jump on the call with you. And I'd say probably 10 to 13 minutes. That's about how long my VSL is. And pretty much what the best way to actually make a VSL is you want to write down every single objection you get after every single sales call. You want to basically figure out what your top objections are. You want to take those objections and you just want to basically break them in the VSL. So the whole point of the VSL, and a lot of people absolutely forget this, is that if they watch the VSL, they should close. Like if they watch the whole VSL, you realistically should 100% close them. And a lot of people just think the VSL is like just a video that gets sent over to them just because like for show ups or whatnot. But no, the whole point of the VSL is to have a higher closing rate. Like VSLs don't really correlate to no shows too much because what they send you send them a video like, well, what does it have to do with them showing up? But The whole point of the VSL is to have a higher closing rate on the actual sales call itself. So yeah, take your main objections, write down every single main objection you have, and figure out a way to break those down in the VSL. Make it about 13 minutes long. And literally, if they watch the VSL, they should 100% close. So next is the appointment setting slash intro call. Intro call if you're doing ads, appointment setting if you're doing cold calls or SMS. Basically, this is again another touch point that you should be talking to them for about 20-25 minutes. A lot of people think the appointment setting call is just going to be 5 minutes long. You're just going to call them up, say, cool, man, you saw my text, let's schedule an appointment, this date, this time, how does that sound? It's not like that. You have to actually treat this like a mini sales call, and you pretty much want to ask them every single question you do ask on the sales call. So, where they're trying to get their business to, why, or what's their goal with the whole business, where they're at currently, what's stopping from getting there, what they're currently doing to get leads slash estimates, biggest struggles in the business, and just keep going on and on and on. And the whole point of this is to actually make them, or is to actually build pain before the actual sales call. So it gives them a reason to show up to the sales call. You want to attach value to the sales call. So one, they're already nurtured before they get on the call. They basically told you all their pain. They think you have a solution to that pain. They've realized they've had that pain on the actual setting call. And then they get sent to the VSL where you break any limiting beliefs. They get more and more nurtured by you, more likely to show up, and more likely to close. If you have a 10 out of 10 setting call, if you have a 10 out of 10 setting call and they watch the VSL, that should literally take your closing rate like plus 80%. And I'm not even fucking lying. A lot of people just overlook this shit because they think it's just such a simple process. And it is simple, don't get me wrong, but a lot of people just don't know how to do it correctly. So yeah, that should boost your closing rate by like 80 fucking percent. Again, with the setting call, super in depth, right? 20-25 minutes. Even with an intro call, same thing. You want to treat this like a mini sales call. But you want to be selling. You want to be selling the actual meeting itself, not your service. So you're selling the meeting as a solution to their problem, and you bring up that problem on the actual appointment setting call itself. So now they're pain. They realize they have the pain. They realize they have a solution they need to solve, and they attach solving that solution with the sales call. Now, closing them from there, pretty much super fucking easy as long as you have the actual sales process dialed. But a lot of people don't actually talk about this front end process here. This front end process here. Everybody does it, but nobody does it right. And if you do it right, that's where you fucking make a bunch of fucking money. Also, one thing I forgot to mention as well, on the appointment setting call, you need to be attaching value to the sales call as well. Whether that's giving them something free, you tell them there, right? Sending them something free before the call. I always do that. I always send them something free before the call. Whether that's a YouTube video disguised as a VSL, basically showing them how they can get more work, whether that's a sales script, whatever the fuck it is, send them something before the call, more likely for them to show up, and it gives yourself more value as well. So next, that's the front end process, right? Now there's actually the back end process, your whole sales process. So the most important thing here, I'll actually get into this later. So the most important thing here is your actual sales process. So the first thing I want to talk about is just pre-handling all your objections. A lot of people do this, like they quote unquote do this, but they don't do it to the extent that you should. You have to actually break down your sales calls and realize what objections you're having and why you're handling them. A lot of people think they're pre-handling the objections, but they're really not because they're not probing enough because they're not asking the prospect why enough. It's like super simple. Like they'll just ask the prospect like, yeah, why didn't Facebook ads work? And so let's say your objection is, the company tried Facebook ads before and they just simply didn't work. A lot of people would just ask why didn't they work. The guy would say low quality leads, and he'd be like, oh yeah, okay, and move on to the next. Or why were they low quality? And he'll basically just say, we'd called the leads up, they didn't answer. That's all they'll simply do, right? They won't go any deeper than that. They won't dig any deeper than that. And this is why you guys get a shit ton of objections at the end, right? Because you're not pre-handling them right. You have to actually figure out what objections they're gonna have before you pitch them at all or tell them anything about your service. Next is going to be the confidence in your product. Sales is just simply a transfer of energy. If you have 100% confidence in your product and you know for a fact that is going to work, it's less about selling them and it's more about reframing their mindset and actually helping them. Because when I get on a sales call, I know 100% I'm going to make them money. I'm going to change, and I have the power to change their business forever. So instead of getting on a sales call like, oh, I'm going to fucking close this guy for 6K piff, I reframe it and I'm like, I have the power in my fucking hand to change this guy's business forever. And that shows in your sales calls. If you are 100% confident in your product and you will make him money, that will show in your sales call. A lot of people do think it's not important as well, but it 100% is. Back when I was making 5K a month, I would, be close to closing a call or I'd pitch them the price and I'd low-key like my heart would just like jitter a little bit because I was like, am I just scamming these guys? Because I didn't actually know if I could deliver or not. And that's the same thing I hear with a lot of you guys. You guys don't know if you can deliver or not. I'll obviously make a separate video on service delivery, but yeah. So next, this is the number one most important part. And I can't give you exactly what I'm running or what I tell the guys in the program to run. But this is actually added fucking 7.5K a month for Adrian in less than 2 weeks. And he has another one coming through for 2.5. He just hasn't paid up the full amount. So yeah, your trustworthy offer is super fucking important. And I'm not talking about guarantees. I'm not talking about, work for free until all that fucking bullshit Alex Hormozy shit. You have to get them to trust you before you give them an offer. And the way I've structured my offer gives them that trust before they pay, right? So the way my offer is structured on the sales call, they basically fully trust me before they even pay me on the sales call, right? Obviously, you close them on the sales call, but yeah, so that's super simple. Just by implementing that, Adrian added fucking 7.5K a month into his business. If you want proof, join the Discord. You can see it in there. Also, Hamza fucking closed, I think it's about 3K now, hopped in a week ago after implementing this offer. His probably would have been more, but his sub account was clipped, so he couldn't send SMS last month. But yeah, so super simple. This is probably the most important part. Again, I can't go too in depth in that because it would just give away my whole fucking business, and I guess like the method almost. But yeah, this is pretty much how I scaled from zero. Sorry, not zero. It's pretty much how I scaled from 4 to 50K in 2 months. In 2 months. And if you guys need my help or anything like that, you can just simply DM me Discord on IG. I'll send you over the Discord link. You can join there, get my help, get plenty of others of help, get plenty of other help from other people. There's guys in there doing 20, 30, 40K a month even, and they'll feel free to help you out. Also, tons of sauce in the Discord. Every single day we're just talking about what we can do to make more money. Pretty simple. And yeah, boys, make sure you follow on IG before you DM that as well. I'll send that over completely free. And I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Anything else you can think of that you want me to make a video on, leave in the description.